Today we have the unfortunate news to discuss the fact that the NHL has suspended its season. We're going to look at the statement from the NHL and take a look at what this might all mean longer term. We'll get into that coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have official word now from the NHL that they've decided to suspend operations and stop all games, at least for the foreseeable future. Now, it's not quite clear exactly what this means long term. We don't really have a plan in place to when hockey can come back and what it all means and all that, because we really don't know exactly how long it's going to be suspended for. But for the time being, teams basically have been sent home and they're basically self-quarantining. There's no meetings, no practices, no nothing. They're not going to the rink. Everybody from the NHL has basically been told to go home, and hopefully we can get this coronavirus situation under control sooner than later and get back to watching and playing the game that we all love here so much. So let's take a look here at the statement from the NHL to see what their exact words were. In light of ongoing developments resulting from the coronavirus and after consulting with medical experts and convening a conference call on the Board of Governors, the National Hockey League is announcing today that it will pause the 1920 season beginning with tonight's games. The NHL has been attempting to follow the mandates of health experts and local authorities while preparing for any possible developments without taking premature or unnecessary measures. However, following last night's news that an NBA player has tested positive for coronavirus, and given that our league shares so many facilities and locker rooms, it now seems likely that some member of the NHL community would test positive at some point. It is no longer appropriate to try to continue to play games at this time. We will continue to monitor all the appropriate medical advice, and we will encourage our players and other members of the NHL community to take all reasonable precautions, including self-quarantine, where appropriate. Our goal is to resume play as soon as it is appropriate and prudent so that we will be able to complete the season, award the Stanley Cup. Until then, we will thank NHL fans for your patience and hope you stay healthy. So ultimately, based on the verbiage, they seem optimistic and hopeful that they are going to be able to come back and complete the season. So I guess that's the positive spin on this. That is the good news. But the other part of this is the unknown. We really don't know how long this is going to take. And depending on how long and how much time we lose, that may not even be possible to go ahead and finish the season. And if they do, there's a number of ideas I've heard about discussed on how they could maybe shorten the season, adjust the playoff rounds. It's really difficult to say. Obviously, like I said, a lot of that's really going to boil down to what kind of timelines we're looking at. But based on the fact that people are being told to self-quarantine, for 14 days, given the fact that all the interactions we've had amongst the different NHL teams with all the different places they've been, it's probably going to be, I would think, at least 4 to 6 weeks. It could be different timelines, it could be longer. I really don't know. But that's the worst part about this, is that this is a different kind of virus that we really haven't seen before, and the unknown for many is kind of scary and just difficult to wrap your head around. So there's no point in making speculations on when they'll come back or when they do, how they'll go about finishing the season. At this point, we just hope that all the NHL players remain safe and secure, and if they are tested positive, that they get the proper care they need, as goes for everybody else. I encourage you all out there watching this to make sure you take necessary precautions. Keep up with your hand washing and do everything that's being recommended by health experts to try to stay healthy and to stay safe out there. Clearly, this virus is spreading like wildfire, and a big percentage of the earth is likely going to be, in some contact with it before it's all said and done. Now, I guess to try to put some kind of a positive spin on this, is the good news is like I said before, my channel runs 365 days a year. I'm very much used to having the idea of having an off season and producing content during that time. Unfortunately, our off season this year might end up being a little bit longer and extended. It's quite possible, but at the very least, I had lots of things I've already been working on that I've done in the past for off-season content, which I will start to prepare to get going here a bit sooner, so that we have plenty of things to keep the discussion going. I think personally, for many of us that are hockey fans, we're not going to be able to get that satisfaction and that fix of watching the games anymore. I think many of us could use YouTube now more than ever, and I'm going to do my best to make sure that I'm still able to produce lots of great content that we can keep talking about hockey and sharing the passion that we all love. And we'll get going here with some off-season content in short order, and then hopefully we can resume back. Whether even if it's April, May, whenever, back to finishing out the regular season, getting the Stanley Cup awarded, having the NHL draft, free agency, all those big fun topics that are so important and so much fun part of our summer off season. We can hopefully look at that stuff a little bit later here. So I guess we'll stay. What happens? We'll see. Hopefully the game can come back sooner than later. But for right now, we'll head into off-season mode. We'll start producing different types of content. I hope everybody out there stays healthy, stays safe. And we'll go from there, and hopefully we can get this under control and get back to normal life, normal sports life, and normal hockey and everything else here as soon as possible. So thank you very much for watching. I hope to have better news on this in the future, and I'll talk to you next time.